Biden, a serious, obvious mental decline. He spoke out about this recently, and so did one Bill Clinton. Okay, Bill Clinton, it's like a CYA move. You got Bill Clinton worried about his hide. You got Jen Psaki, the former press person. Remember Little Peppermint Patty over there that was in the gig before KJP? She at least had the good sense to get out. She's coming out saying, I didn't see anything. Nobody saw anything. Come on, people. I mean, we all saw it. But Biden, however, says, you know what? He would do it again and again and again because he could beat them all. Just like that.
I better not start the questions. I'll get in trouble.
Right? He is a mess. I've showed you that bite before. It's really kind of unforgivable, all that went down. But like I said, he'd do it again because he could beat them all.
And there's also been a lot of discussion recently about your mental and physical capabilities while you were in office.
You can see that. I'm mentally incompetent and I can't walk and I can beat the hell out of both of them.
Do you want to reply to any of those reports and also to the fact that there are some Democrats who are now questioning whether you should have run for re-election in the first place?
Why didn't they run against me then? Because I'd have beaten them.
Do you have any regrets?
No, I don't.
No. He says he's in tip-top shape. Yeah, right. That's what we saw over and over again. That's what we saw with the invisible chair. Tip-top shape. There was a chair. In fairness, there was a chair, but he really wanted to sit in it a little too fast there. Remember that one? And, Jill's like, no, not yet, honey, not yet. Anyway, Bill Clinton has decided to weigh in on this, ladies and gentlemen. And let me go to what he's saying, because this is just unbelievable. John, thank you for the generosity. We've got a few of these super chats in the crowd here today. Thank you to all of you. I'm going to get to your comments.
There's this book that came out that talks about Joe Biden and the people around him seeing that he had cognitive and physical decline. Did you ever have a moment with him where you thought maybe he was unfit to run for president? No.
I thought he was a good president. The only concern I thought he had to deal with was, could anybody do that job until they were 86? And we'd had several long talks. I had never seen him and walked away thinking he can't do this anymore. He was always on top of his brief.
You never saw any cognitive decline?
So I didn't know anything about any of this, and I haven't read the book. I saw President Biden not very long ago, and I thought he was in good shape. But the book didn't register with me because I never saw him that way.
Why didn't you read the book?
I didn't want to, because he's not president anymore, and I think he did a good job, and I think we are facing challenges today without precedent in our history. And some people are trying to use this as a way to blame him for the fact that Trump was reelected.
Yeah. Well, I think he's a big part of the reason why Trump was reelected. I mean, again, poetry at work, ladies and gentlemen. Poetry that Letitia James is getting hit with the exact charge she tried to go after Donald Trump for in a very strange way, right? You know how I feel about that case. And then simultaneously, it comes out that Joe Biden is being covered up for by all of these Dems. And now suddenly people are realizing, gosh, maybe that wasn't the brightest thing to do. Maybe that was all about holding on to our own darn power, because actually the best way to hold on to power is to not have a puppet president, but to put up a candidate that the American people believe in and want to get behind. But you wouldn't do it. You couldn't do it. John Luna, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're enjoying this stream. And AJ as well, thank you for the generosity, guys. Much appreciated. Make sure you guys subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff right here on the Trish Regan channel. But I gotta tell you, there was a whole lot of cover-up going on. And they don't know what to say about it all now, because it was totally obvious. Anyone who had two eyes and a brain. I mean, all you had to do was listen to him. All you had to do was look at him, and you knew. Right? So now Bill Clinton's like, I didn't see that. Gosh, he sounds just like Little Peppermint Patty. Jen Psaki, trying to profess her innocence as only she can.
I left in May of 2022, just for the facts here. And I have seen Biden once since then, when I took my daughter to the holiday party this last December after he had lost. And so I hadn't seen him in person during that period of time. I never saw that person, not a single time. And I was in the Oval Office every day that was on that debate stage. I'm not a doctor. Aging happens quite quickly. Were things that people saw during that period of time that were similar to that or would have been in a category of that? I don't know, possibly, right? And all these books are going to tell us.
Like, do you think that were they actively covering it up? Were they sort of in denial, or was that just a bad debate? Like, what is your read on that?
Well, this is what I mean about cover up is a very loaded term, I think.
Well, it means you knew that it was really bad and you're pretending otherwise versus you're deluding yourself, which I think is what people do a lot.
Well, I understand, but I still think it's like cover up is often like a crime, right? We're talking when people use that term.
They say it's worse than the crime.
People use that term as they relate to Watergate or the covering up of not sharing public information about a war.
Yeah, and I'm not accusing anybody of a crime.
I understand, but other people have used that term, and I think it's a bit of a dangerous term.
By the way, including guys, the author of the book. I'm not a fan of Jake Tapper. I think he's phony. He saw exactly what we saw. There's no excuse for anybody trying to say that, this guy was in tip-top shape and it was a bunch of cheap fakes that were daring to show the invisible chair moment. There was a chair, okay? But we all saw the same thing. We all saw how incoherent he was, how slow he was, how he couldn't...
I better not start the questions. I'll get in trouble.
How he couldn't take questions because he'd get in trouble. Who is he going to be in trouble with?
Do you have a message for voters? Thanks, come on.
We all saw that together, and yet they want to cover it up. Clinton's covering up. Psaki's covering up. Jake Tapper, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. And now he comes out trying to make a buck on the whole thing. Well, I'll tell you this is going down as the biggest scandal in modern political history because Joe Biden may not have known anything that he was doing. He didn't know that he was opening up the border so he could have 532,000 people come here and be non-citizens. Somebody else that was targeting Florida redistricting, targeting Texas redistricting. They were busy doing this, which means the auto pen's going to be in big trouble, and we've got an investigation.
That I haven't said before because it came from a Secret Service whistleblower this past year. I talked to so many of them after the attempted assassinations of President Trump, but this Secret Service whistleblower actually was assigned to Biden, and he told me that Biden used to get lost in his closet in the mornings in the White House. I mean, the guy literally stumbling around in the White House residence couldn't find his way out of his own closet. The president of the United States. I mean, this is outrageous. We were lied to. And Sean, you know as well as I do, the press has a huge role in this. I mean, the press actually is really important in America. They're supposed to report the truth. It's what you do every night. It's not.
Yeah, but they couldn't for whatever reason seem to get out of their own way. They weren't reporting the truth because there was this group think and perhaps even an administration that wouldn't allow them. I mean, I've never seen state media like we saw state media in action for Joe Biden. And his biggest regret was that he didn't do more of it. He told Susan Page at USA Today in his exit interview when she said, "Do you have any regrets?" He said, "Yeah, I wish I could have controlled the misinformation more." And I'm like, whoa. Really? I mean, you don't think you did enough during the campaign? You and Antony Blinken coming up with the big idea to put 51X spooks out there signing their names to a bunch of bogus nonsense? You wonder why Donald Trump wants to get rid of the entire NSC, why he wants to get rid of CISA, why he wants to get rid of all of these deep state apparatuses. It's because they're all in the tank for the other team to the point where they're willing to sign something saying that laptop wasn't real and it's not under investigation when it absolutely was. I'll never get over that one, guys. It's just unbelievable to me. Absolutely, positively disgusting the way they carried on. And you know what? They're going to be held accountable for it.